Drzewiecki Design recently released their latest addition to their City Landmark series for the new Microsoft Flight Simulator, this time taking on the city of Seattle. I, myself, a resident of Seattle, wanted to pick this scenery up immediately and explore. Let's find out if it's worth picking up. Bottom line, the developer set a target of improving the modeling of the Seattle area, and they largely succeeded in accomplishing that goal. The modeling of the buildings and infrastructure is a significant upgrade over what default brings you. It commands a price of 15 euros, or about 18 US dollars, which is a lot compared to what other sceneries are usually priced in the market. But this scenery comes with a lot, so if you're a Seattle flyer, definitely pick this up. Let's talk about why. This product can be purchased through SimMarket, which provides an installer to load the game onto your PC. Unlike other installers, you do not have the ability to place the scenery in an alternative library, but otherwise it works great. You also have the ability to purchase this scenery through the Microsoft Flight Simulator store. Now that we have the scenery installed, let's discuss how it looks. Starting with downtown, the most important perk of any landmarks pack, they nailed it. The modeling of the buildings in the heart of downtown is absolutely fantastic. They even look stunning up close. Moving north to the Space Needle, the icon of Seattle, it has really beautiful modeling and texturing. They have paired this with a moving elevator and a functional observation deck. A bit overkill in my opinion for a flight simulator, but a fun touch nonetheless. With all this being said, the modeling and texturing of the Smith Tower, an iconic building for downtown Seattle, should have gotten a bit more attention to detail. Moving on to the stadiums, they took on 3 iconic stadiums in Seattle: CenturyLink Field, T-Mobile Park, and Husky Stadium. The football stadiums both look stunning and full of detail. T-Mobile Park looks great, although there are some major issues with ground texturing and it's blending in with the railroad that cuts through it. The developers also chose to take on the city of Bellevue, a sister city to Seattle located just across Lake Washington. The buildings here are pretty well done, but I have to say the textures do not look nearly as good up close as they did for downtown Seattle. These textures are best enjoyed from a distance. Moving on to infrastructure. The developers took on a pretty monumental task trying to fix the highways and bridges of Seattle. And while they definitely made improvements, it's not great. The highways look pretty good from a distance, but look very rough up close, especially the road texturing. Seattle has a long list of bridges, and developers took them all on and improved upon what default provided us, but still falls short. Yes, you can fly through them, which is a lot of fun, but the modeling looks really rough up close. The bridges are missing road edges, which becomes very obvious when flying close by. Cars are also not able to use the bridges. This is an SDK limitation that the developers acknowledged on their forum and one that they plan to fix when able. The Port of Seattle, the shipping hub of the city, is fantastically well modeled with a great color palette, and looks great when on approach to both Boeing Field and Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The downtown marina is very well done, and even includes a moving Ferris wheel. Outside of downtown, multiple marinas were diligently modeled with a wide array of boats and piers. The rail yards were generally well modeled. The rail yard for the local light rail was incredibly well done. I love the addition of the trains on the train tracks too, although I would have appreciated some moving trains. The Inner Bay rail yard to the north has some nice train models, but the developers chose to not get rid of the default models in the same rail yard, which makes things look a little bit odd. A unique addition to this scenery was the inclusion of 2 seaplane bases, a major part of the transportation network in the region. The 2 bases are for Kenmore Air, one in South Lake Union on the north side of downtown, and one in Kenmore on the north side of Lake Washington. Both look stunning, and I love the branding inclusion with Kenmore Air aircraft. The South Lake Union one is superior though. The base in Kenmore has buildings nearby that were not modeled and really stand out. I would have liked to see them expand their custom modeling radius a little bit. The developers modeled 5 heliports in the Puget Sound region. They look pretty good, but I'm going to let the following helicopter action shots that I can capture in Microsoft Flight Simulator speak for itself. The night experience is the biggest drawback to the scenery. It's not that the city looks bad, it just sticks out. The whole lighting looks very yellow and almost overdone. Further, the roads and highways look really bad. Not sure if this is a simulator limitation or something else, but they just don't look right. With this being said, the stadiums look fantastic. The developers deserve a lot of credit for that. There are a few things that the developers didn't model which I think they should have. I want to preface this by saying that I am a Seattle resident, so there are going to be things in here that I was hoping for that maybe no one else would notice. The Ballard Locks and Pike Place Market are landmarks of the city that were not well done by default. These really should have been taken on. Further, the city is a bit out of date. The 99 Tunnel, for example, which opened almost 2 years ago, still appears as under construction, and there are a few other buildings in the skyline which aren't modeled. It will be necessary for the developers to stay on top of updating the scenery to keep up with the updating photogrammetry that comes with default scenery. Moving on to one of the most important questions, what is this city like to fly over and around? In my opinion, it's a great experience, with some imperfections. The modeled buildings look great and are a joy to fly around. A great part of having a Landmark Cities pack, something that I didn't consider, is that you can actually tell there is a city off in the distance when you are approaching, as the models are not compressed like they are by default Microsoft Flight Simulator. Further, the added additions of the seaplane bases adds a new way to fly around the area. There is one annoyance though. The models for the buildings and highways do not blend in well when there is any form of reflection. It may be wise for the developers to use a different texturing strategy for the roofs to avoid this problem. With the quality of default that Microsoft Flight Simulator provides, it is always important to ask how much better a new add-on scenery is than default. On the top is Drzewiecki Design, on the bottom is default. Looking at these comparisons, I think it is very clear that the developers have significantly improved upon the default scenery. From a performance perspective, I'm shocked. All performance benchmarks I took were the same or better with the add-on scenery. Major kudos to the developers here. I have not seen this pulled off in a landmark scenery in the past. That will do it for this review. If you have any thoughts or questions, put them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified for future videos. For FSElite, this has been Spencer. We'll see everyone next time.